Hi, I'm Rob Springer, Marketing Director of RatePlug, and RatePlug is a company that has worked with MLSs across the country to provide financing information and affordability information with MLS listing data. And with us today, I have Chris Gardner, who is the founder of FHA Pros. Chris has over 30 years experience in multiple different avenues. He's an attorney. He's worked in real estate. He's been on the mortgage side of things and is one of the foremost experts on condominium data across the country. So Chris, thanks for joining us again today.
Thanks, Rob.
We did a video about a month ago on different special financing options that are available for agents out there, and from everything from the condo data to assumable loans and things of that nature. But there's been some developments more recently in Florida specifically that are impacting condo data, and it's really affecting the market. It's a problem. It's what we're calling a condo crisis. And it's not just going to stay in Florida. We think that this is going to be something that's going to impact agents globally eventually. So I think Chris can kind of bring us up to speed on this and give us a better understanding of what agents are going to be experiencing out there. Chris, can you kind of bring us up to speed on this issue?
Yeah, so as anybody in Florida who's in real estate knows, Senate Bill 4D was passed, which uh, changed the old rules that allowed associations to not have reserve funding and now requires it. And so what that has done, it has skyrocketed condo dues because now those dues have to comply with state law, and those dues problems, coupled with the insurance problem that Florida's having with condos, and really the rest of the country is having in real estate, insurance premiums are skyrocketing as well. It's really kind of created a substantial condo crisis in Florida. Listings have gone up 143%. Properties are sitting. Demand is non-existent or barely alive because of these issues and problems. And we have solutions to these problems that the agents and the MLSs are having to struggle with right now because of the demand that's kind of created.
What specifically can FHA Pros and Rate Plug bring to these MLSs to help their agents out there with this problem?
Well, I think right now the only thing anyone can do is stimulate demand because the laws have been passed. Everybody's going to have to live with those and the consequences of those. And you can do that by if rates come down, that stimulates demand. But the biggest problem in condos is that there is no known financing options in any MLSs in Florida. So when an agent working in an MLS currently is looking for condo data, this is what they get. They get no data. There's no information about any condos financing options at all. So they're left to completely guess or just not show their particular borrower who's using a particular loan that property. So it's really a chilling demand. And with our data, if you take our data and our support, this is what the agents would be looking at. They would be looking at all of the financing options determined and published to the agents, and then that data is captured so that these condos that nobody knows anything about, they stop not knowing anything about it. They start knowing, and we capture this data in the MLS so that the agents can know exactly what loans can close and exactly what loans can't close. And our process of reviewing these condos with a condo desk also will reveal information that the agents have never been able to get before, which is, in this case, dog limits, if they allow leasing, if there's a special assessment, how many foreclosures are in the project, additional information that they aren't able to get because it's not public record. It's a consequence of our review of that particular condo and project.
So another thing is, I think you've touched on in our last video, is that this database would be continue to build. So condos, the information that you're reconciling on these condo projects would be entered into the database. It would continue to grow over time. So this is a resource the MLS would have. And then I think you had also mentioned that if there are any adjustments in requirements, that you can programmatically apply that to all the condos that are in the database to make that change and have that data reflected in real time through the MLS data.
Correct. Yes. So if there's changes in lending rules, which are coming, there's already been substantial ones, but they're going to keep on evolving as they figure out this condo mess. We can programmatically make those changes. So if tomorrow Fannie Mae says the owner occupancy has to be 70% instead of 50, we can adjust that within the database so that we don't have to educate 200,000 agents on the changes in the state of Florida. Additionally, as you had stated, Rob, the database will grow because over time we will review every project. And once we do that, there will never be any unknowns about what the financing options are. And it's my opinion that the financing options is probably one of the most important data points to have on a condo listing because it goes to the heart of who can buy it and what it takes. Currently, MLSs have none of this data. And so we believe this is probably the best solution to the current condo crisis because it will stimulate demand. It will let agents know that they can put condo deals together on projects that they know nothing about because we will have told them. And that will ensure that these projects, these sales close, and the agents will have the certainty they need to have to put a deal together. And the agents would be able to search by what are all the projects, what are their approvals, what projects have you looked at that we know can't go FHA or they can't go VA or they can't go Fannie Freddie. That database would capture all that information.
Okay, so this is obviously going to be crucial information for agents to have to effectively sell condos. And as I think I touched on, this is kind of Florida centric right now, but in your opinion, it's going to be much wider spread than just Florida. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, many state legislatures are looking at the problems in Florida and realizing they have many of the same. Florida allowed very bad financial practices, and that's why they had to pass Senate Bill 4D. And now that's going to forever change the landscape of dues, and that's going to hurt demand. So now every buyer should matter to every MLS, to every agent. Every buyer matters because all cash buyers aren't out there, throwing out offers above listing. And now in a sluggish market, every buyer matters. You can't ignore any of them. And unfortunately, the only way for you to not ignore them is that you've got to give them the information to let them know the projects that they can actually use their particular loan in.
Well, I think it's just a no-brainer in my mind, and I think the point of this is to share with our MLS partners out there and MLSs that we haven't quite partnered with yet, is that timing is perfect to at least uh, to have these conversations, to reach out to us and go a little bit deeper onto this topic and discuss the options for your MLS. Obviously, you're probably beginning to start formulating your product offering for next year and budgets and so forth. So we do encourage that we do set up those calls and at least have the opportunity to share with you what we can provide to your members to help them become more effective in selling properties and condos out there in the future. So thank you, Chris, for your time on this. It's a very important topic, and we'll continue to do these videos as needed. And I appreciate, as always, your expertise on this subject. Thanks very much.
You got it, Rob. Thank you.